Stop crying about your mom's cancer. You're ruining my Vegas vibe. That's what my girlfriend said to me. And that was the exact moment something inside me snapped. Not with rage. Not even pain, just silence. My name's Ethan Cole, 32. And right now I'm writing this from my childhood bedroom. The same one where the posters of rock bands still peel at the corners. Not because I had to move back here, but because I needed to. Because 3 days ago, my entire world caved in. My mom has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. She'd been fighting it for a year, and on Tuesday the doctor called. His voice was gentle, too gentle, when he said words like palliative and comfort care. My dad, a man I'd only seen cry twice in my entire life, broke down mid-sentence. I just sat there, staring at the wall, tears falling without sound. My girlfriend, Claire, 29, lived with me in my condo. We'd been together 3 years. When Mom was first diagnosed, Claire was supportive for maybe a day, brought soup, hugged me, said, "We'll get through this." But by the end of the week, she was rolling her eyes every time I mentioned a doctor's appointment. When the grief hit hard, I stopped going out, stopped laughing, stopped wanting anything. And she noticed, not because she cared, but because my depression got in the way of her brunches, her new heels, her perfect Instagram life. By Tuesday, the day everything cracked, we were supposed to be packing for Vegas. It was her 30th birthday, a huge deal for her. I'd booked the flights, the hotel suite, the Michelin star dinner, the champagne table at a rooftop bar. All on my card, always on my card. She worked part-time in social media marketing, which is to say, she took pictures of herself at brunch and called it a job. That night, I was in my office off the phone with Dad, still shaking. We were talking hospice. Hospice. The word felt like a blade. I was trying to hold it together when Claire walked in, holding up a glittering silver dress against her body. "Are you still crying?" She sighed, not even looking at me. I looked up, my voice raw. "I just got off the phone with Dad. They're stopping treatment, Claire. It's hospice now." She groaned, long and dramatic. "Ethan, I know it's sad, but can we not do this right now? My birthday's in 2 days. I've been looking forward to Vegas for months." I just stared. Couldn't form words. Couldn't even breathe properly. She crossed her arms. "You've been such a downer lately. Everyone's tired of your sad energy. You need to pull yourself together." And then it came. The line I'll never forget. She rolled her eyes, threw the dress on the bed and snapped, "Stop crying about your mom's cancer. You're ruining my Vegas vibe." Something in my mind just shut off. It wasn't fury. It was clarity. "You're right," I said quietly. She blinked, thrown off by the calmness. Then, seeing no argument coming, she smiled, that smug little smile that always made me feel small. "Good. I'm gonna get my nails done for the flight. We leave at 8 tomorrow. Try not to mope, okay?" She kissed the air near my cheek and left. I sat there for 10 minutes, staring at nothing, listening to the hum of the fridge, the silence of my life. Then I opened my laptop. Step 1. The trip. I logged into the airline website. Non-refundable tickets, but refundable credits. Under my name, canceled. Click. $1,200 returned to my account. Vegas was over. Step 2. Finances. I logged into my credit card portal. Claire was an authorized user on my Platinum card, the one she used for everything from her Lululemon splurges to oat milk lattes. I clicked Remove User. A box popped up. Reason for deactivation? I typed No longer authorized. Click Step 3. The condo mine, every square inch of it. Bought 5 years before I even met her. Her name wasn't on the mortgage, not on the utilities, not even on the Wi-Fi. She was a guest, and guests could be uninvited. I called a locksmith. "Hey, I need an emergency rekey, front door and deadbolt. Tonight if possible." The guy said, "Well, we can be there in an hour." Perfect. While waiting, I called my sister, Jenna. She lives 10 minutes away. When I told her what Claire said, the air practically sizzled through the phone. "Oh, hell no. I'm coming over with boxes. Don't touch her stuff." By 8:30 p.m., the locksmith was at the door, and Jenna was in full fury mode, packing Claire's endless high heels and designer skincare into boxes with surgical precision. "You go to Mom and Dad's," she said, not looking up. I'll handle this circus. By 9 p.m., the locks were changed. By 10 tau, 28 boxes and 4 suitcases were labeled, sealed, and moved into the basement storage unit. I grabbed my keys, drove to my parents' house, and sat beside Mom's bed. She was asleep, her breathing shallow but peaceful. I held her hand and whispered, "I'm here, Mom. I'm not going anywhere." And for the first time in days, I cried again, this time for the right reason. The next morning, sunlight spilled across my mom's bedroom like it didn't know how cruel the world could be. Dad was already up, making coffee, the same ritual he's done every day for 30 years. But this time, his hands trembled as he poured. Neither of us spoke. We didn't need to. The silence between us carried everything words couldn't. Mom was awake, fragile, but smiling. When she saw me, she whispered, "You stayed." I nodded, my throat tight. "Of course, Mom." She squeezed my hand weakly. "That girl you were seeing?" "Claire, right? She didn't come with you?" I shook my head. "No, Mom, she's not here anymore." She smiled faintly, eyes half closing. "Good. You always gave too much to people who gave too little." That line, I didn't know it yet, but it would stay with me long after she was gone. At 8:17 a.m., my phone started vibrating nonstop, first a call, then another. Then a string of texts, "Where are you?" "The Uber's waiting, you idiot." My card got declined at Starbucks. "What did you do?" "Ethan, answer now. If you're trying to be dramatic about last night, stop. You're embarrassing yourself." I watched the screen light up again and again, her name flashing like an alarm I refused to hear. By the time I silenced it, she'd called 11 times. Jenna walked in, holding a tray of tea for Mom. "She called me too," she said flatly. I raised an eyebrow. "Yep," Jenna continued. "Said something about you hacking her finances." She smirked. I told her, "Honey, that man just canceled your access to his kindness, not his credit card." By noon, Claire's calls had turned to voicemails, crying, shouting, bargaining. The usual performance. "Ethan, please, what's happening?" "I'm at the airport. They said there's no reservation under our names." "Did you cancel the trip?" "You promised me this, Ethan. You said we needed fun." "You said, Ethan, this is insane. I can't even get an Uber back. My card won't work." "Are you seriously locking me out?" "For what?" "Don't do this. Don't you dare do this to me after everything I—" Click, then silence. For a few blessed hours, peace returned. Mom drifted in and out of sleep. Dad hummed some old country tune under his breath. Jenna was on her laptop in the living room, quietly working. It felt safe, like the storm had finally passed, until 4:37 p.m. That's when I heard the tires screech outside. I looked out the window, and there she was, Claire, standing in the driveway in her sparkly travel outfit, heels sinking into the grass, hair in chaos. Holding a designer tote like it was a weapon, she stormed toward the front door, pounding on it like a cop raid. "Ethan! Open this damn door!" Jenna peeked from the hallway. "Oh, this should be good," she muttered, setting her mug down. I opened the door just enough to see her, not enough for her to walk in. She looked like fury and perfume had a baby. "What the hell is wrong with you?" She snapped. "My cards don't work. The hotel said you canceled, and your stupid sister told me my stuff is in the basement. Are you out of your mind?" I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. "Claire," I said calmly, "we're done." She blinked. "Done? Over what, Ethan? 'Cause I told you to stop crying? Jesus, you're being dramatic." I almost laughed, and not out of humor but disbelief. "Claire, my mother is dying, and you made it about your birthday." "Oh, come on. People die all the time. You can't just stop living your life because someone's sick." Her words cut through the air like glass. Dad stepped out from behind me, face pale, eyes filled with something between disgust and pity. "Miss," he said quietly. "You should leave, now," she glared. "Stay out of this, old man." That's when Jenna appeared, holding up her phone. "Already called the cops," she said. "Trespassing's a crime, sweetie." For a second, Claire's bravado cracked. Then she laughed, that high, fake laugh that always meant she was cornered. "You think I care? You think you can just throw me out like trash after everything I did for you?" "Do you think, well, me?" I just shook my head. "What you did for me, Claire. You took, you drained. And when I needed you most, you mocked me. So yeah, I can throw you out, because you were never in. The silence that followed was heavy. Then distant sirens. Getting closer, Claire's smirk faded. You called the police on me? No, Jenna said, smirking. I did. And you're welcome. A patrol car pulled up moments later. The officers were polite, professional, but firm. They asked her to step away from the property. She tried to argue. It's my boyfriend's house. But I handed them the deed with my name on it. That was the end of it. As she was escorted to her car, she turned back one last time, her eyes blazing. You'll regret this, she hissed. You'll die alone, Ethan, just like your mom. My heart stopped, even the officer flinched. Dad took a step forward, voice trembling with fury. Get off my property. She left. The silence afterward was suffocating, but somehow cleaner, like finally exhaling after months underwater. I didn't cry that time, not for her, but that night. As I sat beside Mom's bed again, listening to her shallow breaths, I realized something. Claire was right about one thing. People do die all the time, but not everyone dies loved, and not everyone who's alive truly lives. It happened 3 days later. The morning felt colder than it should have been. Mom hadn't spoken much the night before. Her breaths were slower, lighter, like each one was a choice she was running out of strength to make. Dad and I sat by her bed. Jenna had fallen asleep in the armchair, clutching Mom's blanket. The room smelled like lavender and oxygen. I was holding Mom's hand when I felt it, her fingers twitching, barely there. She opened her eyes, blue and dim like faded sky. Ethan, she whispered, promise me, you'll let go of her, of the pain. Her words were barely sound. I leaned closer, tears blurring everything. I promise, Mom, I promise. She smiled, faintly, softly, then exhaled one last time, a long, slow breath that didn't return. The world went silent. I didn't scream, didn't move, didn't even breathe for a moment. It was like time itself bowed its head. By noon, the house was full of people. Family, nurses, soft murmurs. Hugs that felt like they were trying to hold me together. Jenna made calls. Dad tried to stay busy. I sat on the porch staring at the winter sky. Everything looked too normal for a day the world had just ended. Then my phone buzzed. I didn't even look at first. But the name on the screen stopped my breath again. Claire, the text read, I heard about your mom. I'm sorry. Can we talk? I stared at the screen until the letters blurred. She hadn't cared when Mom was alive. But now, when the pain was fresh and bleeding, she wanted in. Maybe guilt. Maybe ego. Maybe both. I didn't answer. An hour later, there was a knock at the door. Dad opened it and froze. Ethan, he said quietly. It's her. Claire stood there. In black, perfect hair, perfect mascara. Not a single trace of real grief. She held a bouquet of white lilies. The kind you send to someone you want seen being sorry. Ethan, she started, voice soft, rehearsed. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I didn't mean what I said. I was scared. You know how I get when I panic. I cut her off. You told me I'd die alone, I said quietly. You looked me in the eye in front of my father and said that. Her eyes shimmered, but not with guilt, with performance. That was anger. I didn't mean it, I lost control. You always did, Jenna said coldly from behind me. Usually when someone else was hurting. Claire's gaze darted to her, then back to me. I didn't come here to fight. I came to be there for you. To say goodbye properly, I clenched my jaw. You had months to say goodbye, Claire, to her. You didn't. I didn't know how, she whispered. I'm not good with death. Yeah, I said, voice cracking. Or life, she flinched. For a moment her mask almost fell. I just thought, maybe you'd want company. You shouldn't be alone right now. I looked at her. Really looked. The girl who once made my world spin was now just a stranger with flawless makeup and empty eyes. Behind her, snow began to fall. Soft, slow, uncaring. I'm not alone, I said finally. Not anymore. Dad's hand rested on my shoulder. Jenna's arm wrapped around me from the side. Claire stood there, realizing there was no space for her in this house anymore. Or in my life. Her lips trembled. So that's it? After everything? After everything, I said. Yes. She stared at me, desperate for one last word, something to hold power again. But nothing came. She placed the lilies on the porch step and turned away. As she walked to her car, I noticed something strange. For the first time since I'd known her, she didn't check her reflection in the window. She just got in and drove off. That night, after everyone left, I sat in Mom's room again. The bed was neatly made. Her photo stood on the dresser, smiling, alive. I lit one of her candles, the kind she used when she prayed. The air filled with that same lavender scent. And then, quietly I spoke, not to the air, but to her. Mom, you were right. She didn't deserve me, but I finally understand what love should be. It's not grand gestures or parties or shiny things. It's staying when the world falls apart. I looked out the window. Snow kept falling, covering everything, even the pain. And for the first time in a long time, I felt something like peace. Maybe that's what letting go really means. Not forgetting, just choosing to stop bleeding.